Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jay Banks. It's Tuesday. Back in the co-pilot seat. What's cracking, AI?
Hey, what up, man?
How you feeling?
I feel really good, man. I feel that we went through a rough weekend of football, and it was kind of a shell shock in Cincinnati, and kind of feeling that the city's got such an interesting feel when our Bengals
it's crazy,
fall,
bro.
You know, and especially to someone like the Chiefs. I'm feeling some type of way, but it doesn't deter me. I still feel like we're a top 10 team in the league.
Yeah.
At 0-2, which is crazy to even think about. But I would take our chances against the Chiefs again, and especially when we get T. Higgins back.
Yeah, man, for sure, bro.
So I mean,
it was
feeling good, but feeling
it was disheartening, obviously, to lose the first two games, but the team that showed up against the Chiefs were not the team that played against the Patriots, bro. It was like a completely different team. They played better than the Chiefs did. We just, a couple plays just changes the entire outcome. You know what I mean?
Not only a couple plays, but, I mean, ball security.
Yeah.
Got to hold the football. You know what I mean? And, that's really, that's a huge portion of what we have we're struggling with this year. It's not like it's just once in a while something will happen, but when the significant ball carrier issues happen, those turnovers are what changes a win from a loss. Like literally, that's it. Bro. That's it. Just the one play. It doesn't even the rest of the game might as well not matter at that point. It's just plays after plays. But once a fumble happens, it crushes your momentum. Mm-hmm. It gives them momentum and morale. Right. And the ball. Right. And the ball to score. So it's
especially when it comes to the Chiefs, man, because every time they have the ball, you have to expect that they're gonna score 3 points minimum.
Every time.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you got an interception or
which P did throw.
Yeah, for sure.
Pat Mahomes threw an interception.
Two of them. Yeah. And
probably the play of the year with Cam Taylor.
Taylor one-handed, bro. Let's go.
Man, shout out to Cam, man. He did one of those Odell Beckham back
stretch it out.
Oh man, beautiful one-hand interception, and it was awesome because he was down here at the Levee 2 weeks ago for the very first the
Fox 19, Fox Now, Bengals
Now, and which is super cool. Hopefully we get to see him again. He's such a cool guy and goes out there and does that on the football field. Right. And like a top 10 Sports Center play. That's pretty amazing, and it's probably the play of the year in a lot of people's minds now, regardless of the team.
Right. I mean, like I was saying, that's one of those things. Like if you can intercept, if you can stop the Chiefs from getting downfield, you got to capitalize on it. At least get 3 points on our side so we can offset it. You know what I mean? We did what we had to do. It was just a couple plays that just kind of tilted the scale to the Chiefs side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really thought we had that game, man.
And I will say too, Jamar Chase.
Frustrated. You can see it in his eyes. Yeah.
And he's getting doubled. There's no T on the other side to counter what's happening.
Right.
But got to keep the cool because that one penalty literally changed the trajectory of that point forward for that game.
For sure.
And over a face mask that may or may not have happened, the camera was so quick. It was kind of it was clearly something happened.
It wasn't a face mask. It was the hip tackle because
he pulled into his face mask too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said he pulled my face, and then he went to the ref twice. And Burrow even had a go to him and stop him from yelling at him, and then he went back, and then he did one of these things and pushed Burrow's arm away, and that's that's when you're like, I mean, that's your quarterback, man. Like you guys are. When your dude is stopping you, he knows he's the cool, calm, and collected right now, and you're just seeing red, like you said. So that was a huge play. But I'd like to get your take. We got Ryan with Thieves Guild right here on Newport on the Levee, and I'd like to get his take. He's a football fan himself, so without further ado, what's up, my friend?
It's going pretty good. My take.
So you're not a Bengal fan, though. I can tell by the hat.
Yeah, you're Titans. I see the Titans on there.
Yeah, I think depending on how the season's going, you might see Jamar Chase in Oilers blue next year. You know, if he's not wanting to stick around. So,
what do you think happens to T. Higgins?
Man,
same thing. Who knows?
I thought T was gone this year.
Yeah,
I thought he was gone this year. I really did.
Yeah. Do you think that he's sitting out, hamstring, any issues, whatever, any pull, any injury? Do you think it's more so his distaste for what the organization chose to do with the franchise tag? Or do you think that it's a legitimate thing? Or you think he's protecting himself? How long do you think he sits out?
Could be a little bit of both. I think it's the one thing with him. I don't think he's player-wise personality. That's him. I would say that'd be more Jamar. That's more of a Jamar take for me.
Okay.
I think he's legitimately hurt. He's just trying to heal. It's kind of the same thing D-Hop's trying to do right now. D-Hop wants to be on the field.
Yeah, he does.
He wants to be on the field so bad, and he gets out there for one or two plays, and it's like they bring him back out because he's not fully healed.
Yeah, you can definitely see it in his first step. See it in his, in his not only his lateral game but his cut game. When they can't cut the same way, like if Calvin Ridley had issues like injury issues, he's one of the best cuts in the league with Devontae Adams up there with those guys. If they can't cut and they can't do those stutter steps and that hammy has issues, you're seeing these cornerbacks are just too good. Yeah. You know what I mean? These cornerbacks are just too good. Cornerback is the hardest position in football because they have to play to their back to the ball. They play with the back to the ball. They're that good. So these guys are that good of players. If you can't move, I mean, it's going to affect your contract the next time. Because if you play injured, when the time comes for you to get the contract and you played the games and your stats are low, why were your stats so low? I was injured. Why did you play them?
It's true.
You know what I mean? And it's it's a hard ask for some of these guys to go out there injured. But at the same time, if you play on a franchise tag and you do get injured, next year they don't owe you anything. It's also because franchise tag, they'll probably want to try to give him a franchise tag again next year. T Higgins.
I don't think he'll let him.
I don't think he'll let him either. I don't think he'll let him either. But they're gonna want to. I think that's what the plan is. But I don't think they'll let him. I agree with you.
If they pay Jamar, I see that happening.
I think they're gonna pay Jamar.
They should.
They should.
That's the thing. If they don't, that price tag's just getting higher and higher every year.
Yeah, but they're not going to pay Jamar now because it's a year early. He's a year early before the contract is needed to happen. So I don't necessarily think he needs the contract. He should go out there and play to his best of his ability and try to put up the numbers. Next year, yeah, he's going to get that $40 million a year or whatever is going to come out of those wide receiver numbers, which is he's going to be the highest paid wide receiver next year.
So what if the Bengals hypothetically do win the Super Bowl? Does he come back at the end of the year with a higher negotiation? You know what I mean? Because if he can prove his value today in 2024 by the end of the season, you've got another year under your belt, and if he goes 1,000+ yards, could he get more than what he's asking today? You know what I mean? Especially
if he wins the Super Bowl, 40 a year is a lot. 40 a year is going to be what he's. I don't think it's going to make a difference on the Super Bowl if they win or lose on how much he gets because of the way the wide receiver contracts work and why all the contracts work. Yeah, if you were to get an MVP of the Super Bowl, you're going to get certain bonuses and certain things that otherwise you wouldn't get. But the contract for a wide receiver, he's getting it no matter what. Mm-hmm. The Bengals will not let him walk away.
Right.
That would be. I don't even want to think about
detrimental. Yeah,
that would be ridiculous. But to win a Super Bowl and then go to the contract negotiation, it's going to happen so much faster. If you win a Super Bowl. And
because we'll have money in our pocket too by then, obviously.
Yeah. But they had to really pool money to pay for Burrow. I think that's the big issue.
For sure.
They had to pool money from more than themselves.
They changed the name of the stadium.
They literally changed the name of the stadium for yeah. So,
never say never.
Never say never. Ryan.
Look at AJ Brown.
That's true.
The Eagles.
We would have never thought he was going to leave.
No.
Ever. I never thought Derrick Henry was going to leave. I just can't believe.
Henry, I can understand, but A.J. Brown?
Both of them, bro.
Look what he's done with the Eagles. And Jalen Hurts, I think, is an okay quarterback. But, man, if you had him still on the team, totally different.
Totally different. So A.J. Brown is a game changer from the time he steps on field, but he's injured right now, so he's not playing his best. So, but yeah, how do you feel about your Titans though? What's going on with you all this season? The Bengals are 0-2, but trending upwards. You guys are real Levis. UK though, played at Kentucky.
We're ass, man. We're bad. It's bad to have the best defense in the league in week 1, which granted it's week 1.
Yeah.
And lose. You go into Chicago and you lose when your defense is ranked number 1 after the week on boneheaded mistakes.
And Caleb Williams only threw for 93 yards.
93 yards.
93, and they still won.
Yeah, and they still won. And that's completely different than last year with our defense.
Yeah.
We have better corners. We've got better coaching. But, man, you can't give up the ball. It's so bad.
Yeah, Will Levis, man. Talk about how your experience with him so far is. He's in year 2.
He looked better last year with a worse team.
With a worse team?
We had a worse team last year.
And he looked better.
Could be the Henry effect. Henry was still there.
Yeah.
Could be. D-Hop also helped.
D-Hop definitely. Yeah, for sure.
I know a lot of our fans are giving shit to one of your guys, Brian Callahan.
Oh yeah.
He's calling him out every week, calling Levis out. Which I love it.
I mean, Will Levis is falling down and trying to make a play. We've talked about off camera about trying to be Superman, and I really only believe any one player can be. Right outside, if you were to walk out by past Brothers on the right. It's called Par 3. Shout out Par 3. New on Newport on the Levee. Come down and check them out.
People have been having fun down there, too.
They have been having fun.
Yeah, everyone that comes down says they had a blast. And the burgers were good, too, from what I heard.
Food, drinks, it's all solid. But I'd like to jump into that. But before that, Will Levis just got to stand on his feet and throw the ball. Not fall over, try to do plays, all this stuff. And you guys would see maybe a chance for that victory that you're looking for. But the Bengals need them too. But the Bengals are a much different situation that came down to a call at the end of the game regulation with the Chiefs. And who knows, we talk about a missed touchdown against the Patriots. So there's things that the Bengals could win from 0-2 to 2-0, whatever. But the Titans, it's just, man, losing Derrick Henry, huge thing. But Will Levis has got to stay on his feet and throw the ball outright and use his strength and his power. And I followed him when he was UK, and he's a good quarterback. I just don't know what's going on. He was better last year. I totally agree. But it's never too late. Only game. We're going to week 3. So good luck.
We need it.
Winning.
We need it bad.
But in other news, a lot of stuff's happened here Newport on the Levee. We are preparing for preparing for Blink, which is coming in October. We're preparing for a 90s party. Halloween's, already being prepared for. People are already decorating their houses. We're preparing for them on the levee. So lots going on here, and part of that is Thieves Guild. We have Ryan here, and what's been your experience since starting this? Because you have a previous experience on the levee before Thieves Guild, but what is your experience up until this point, and what's the move here, man? What's going on?
Man, it's definitely changed over the past year and a half. Overall, for the better. You got people here at the levee, all kinds of business that want to work together, want to make the place better, do all kinds of things, which is great. The big thing, I think, for us is just trying to bring as many people here as possible.
And you do game nights.
We do all kinds of game nights. We host all kinds of card games, D&D. For those of you not familiar with D&D, Dungeons & Dragons. Great tabletop experience. People, bring you in. They show you how to do the game, run you through a story. Lasts about 3 to 4 hours. about the same as a movie, you know.
What is the like average age that your normal players would have? Older, younger, in between? What's it?
Definitely adults.
Okay.
We don't cater to the kids as much as we could. It's something that's more early in the day type of thing.
Sure, yeah.
Something we're gonna look at next year for summer. But now it's like, you know, you have all ages. Someone can come in, never played before, grab a beer, have fun playing the game, learn the game. Pretty simple. It's not too hard to understand.
That's probably the best part is being able to go down and actually learn how to play them, because you guys have a ton of games down there too. It's not just Dungeons and Dragons. You guys like you sell your own die, right? Like your own like special dies that you guys sell. So I'm sure you guys can create your own games down there and other things. But is Dungeons and Dragons is that like the go-to game that you guys do like after hours with down there?
It's one of the bigger ones. Probably the biggest at the moment is that the One Piece card game. We got 20 to 30 that come in twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great time, great community. Those guys are they're the type of people you want coming into your store.
For sure.
They're just great people to be around.
So what is TCG? Because that's you got a tournament coming up for that, right?
I have a couple. It's a trading card games. This Saturday we have sorcery contested rounds that we're doing a win a box tournament with. It's a newer game. People still get into it, but then I think we're doing it in October is going to be a $1,000 cash prize One Piece trading card game tournament.
Let's go. All right. So. Like, explain what the trading card game is. Is that something where you're just like breaking packs, or?
Yeah, you open up packs, you sit there, buy cards, singles, whatever you need to do to build a really good deck for One Piece. Same with sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
And you play your opponent. It's usually timed each round, but I mean we're hoping to have like 64 people here for the $1,000 tournament.
No shit.
It's gonna be capping out, which shouldn't be an issue. People from Columbus and Dayton should be coming down.
No kidding. That's kind of badass if you think about it, man, because, like back in the day when it came to like Pokemon or like Magic the Gathering, like you had your own cards that you would come and play with. So, your what you've got in your pocket. You know what I mean? But like doing the where you break the packs open right there and that's what you have to use. Like that's probably a lot more fun, because it's almost like a gambling thing, Everybody likes busting open packs of cards, but then being able to immediately use them, bro. Like, you guys are fucked. I got this one right here. Let's go. What are you looking at? What's going on?
I'm looking at the chat.
Chat's going crazy over there.
Yeah.
So
Rob,
real quick, man. Rob, the Hebrew Heartthrob, he wants to throw an MMA tournament down here at Newport on the Levee. Like he wants to bring the octagon down and do Rob, right? When he comes to do something, it's done proper, bro.
Right. Yeah.
So somebody like him, he's been on the horn with me for the past 3 days. Bro, I really want to get this going, and I think it'd be perfect to do it in Newport, Kentucky, right there at the Levee.
Dude, it's amazing. And I see the head scientist lab.
That's me. That's the only way I can comment on cool. Our own Instagram.
I'm not mad about it.
Yeah. So.
But yeah,
I never use that page.
Well,
so if you guys want to tap in, I'm gonna start using it.
Yeah, put some Easter eggs in there. But
that's a good idea.
The MMA thing in Newport, that could be it would be located.
Literally right here in the gallery.
That's sick.
Yeah, that's something like that.
That's dope. Rob, support you, bud. Let's do that.
Yeah,
that's super cool. I'm down, 100%. So I was not expecting that to be on a bingo card for 2024.
Right. The one thing that I would suggest is I'm sure the first concern of the levy is insurance and making sure that if anybody gets hurt. So if Rob if he comes to the meeting or comes when he does meet with the levy and already has that in his pocket, that's already covered. We've already got insurance set up the whole nine. Right, but if he comes in and already has that on the table, that's gonna alleviate a lot of headache and like pump the brake type attitude.
Well, without it, it's going to be pumped from the start.
For sure.
The brake. I mean, you got to have insurance to even be, set up any food here, anything. You have to have insurance. It's part of the
anywhere, bro. You have to have insurance if you're setting up at Bunbury.
Yeah. Yep.
When I did that, like I think I spent $1,200 or $1,500 on the booth for Bunbury. No, it was definitely 15 or 17 because it was a 3-day event. But right when I got there, they're like, "Where's your COI, like certificate of insurance?" And I'm like, "Huh?" Like I've done so many of these, and no one's ever asked me for a COI. They're like, "Yeah, you can't open it until you get a COI." So I had to spend like another $190, like for that day to fucking try to hustle over a COI. But it's just like one of the,
that.
It is what it is.
I
don't think anyone's gonna fall into our tent and do something, but at this day and age, like some of the tents that we have, like we're getting pretty elaborate though, so insurance probably is a smart idea.
We are getting elaborate, but I'm here to push the bounds, be elaborate, and I'm excited for some pop-ups we got planned.
Yeah, bro.
But back to
Thieves Guild, bro.
Man. I'm curious though. So for somebody who is new to the gaming thing, whether like everyone understands games, like playing them and whatever the case may be, but to get down to like the level of, not only seriousness, but like how deep the games do go, like are there more like different levels of education?
Is everybody an expert?
Yeah, is there
or
expert,
is there a novice?
beginner? Like, yeah, exactly. Like, how do you go about teaching someone? Because like when we play Pokemon, we understand you become pretty quick at the game. But when I started playing Magic: The Gathering as I got older, like in the high school era, and that's when Magic was big, it's way more complicated. Way more cards, way more things happening in Magic than there was Pokemon. And I'm sure games have evolved since. So what level are you educating, and these lessons, how long do they last, like stuff like that, like for someone that's listening that's like, hey, I want to come down but I don't know anything about it.
I think for us the main thing that we try to focus on is
good seeing you, man.
Hey, man.
Tap in on the Instagram, bro. You got your phone on you? I'll put my number real quick.
Yeah, you continue.
Yeah. Main thing is that we try to focus on like newer people. We're not really trying to push the super competitive scene. We'd rather get people in, learn the game, have fun. But it also really depends on which game it is. Dungeons and Dragons, you don't have to be an expert to know it. As long as you can read, you could read, different character sheets and whatnot.
We'll link up anything you need. I got you.
It's pretty easy.
Hey, bro.
Appreciate you stopping in, man. Yes, sir.
But anyone can learn Dungeons and Dragons, like you said. But what separates the players that are on the competitive end to someone that may play a lot but more on like for fun compared to because it's competition either way at the end of the day, because there's going to be a winner at the end of the time allotted, right? So
for a trading card game, it'll be a winner, but at the same time, it's the community brings the energy. Whatever type of energy that they're bringing, you have to adapt to it. So if they're bringing that super competitive energy and they want to be super competitive, that's what's going to happen. If they're coming in, they just come in and have fun, teach new people, help people build decks and whatnot, which is trying to be the main thing what we foster. They come in, they do that. For D&D, there's not really a winner. As long as everyone has fun, you have fun through the story. That's the main thing that you're going for.
So there's not a winner,
but not for D&D. There's not. D&D it's a story that you're part of the adventure and you're going through it and solving issues, maybe doing some battling and whatnot.
Okay. So there are D&D, like there are tournament, like how does that like, so as if it's always.
It's definitely more casual.
Casual, okay.
Yeah, D&D is a casual thing.
Okay.
If you get into a competitive thing, it can be, but it's like super high level stuff, lots of math. People hate math.
Yeah. That's definitely not the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
As you have to get the nose. Yeah. That because I think that's where a lot of times people will misunderstand when they see games. They think winner loser. They don't think casual. They don't think enjoy Monopoly for the long road. They're like, we need to collect as many dollars as possible and as many properties as possible, and I'm gonna sink Uncle Joe because he's not winning this time. You know what I mean? So where it's more casual and you're taking in the experience within the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just like a role playing game, like in video games, when you're building your character, you're really not. You're maybe defeating bosses and you're defeating on side quests and whatever, but you're not really winning the game until your character's maybe maxed out, or because there's always something new to do, rather than Street Fighter where there's winner, loser. Mortal Kombat, finish him. You know what I mean? Like It's not that kind of a game. So D&D is, but that's the game. I mean that's the anchor in the conversation, is mentioning D&D, because that opens up like this is the general demographic. But like, so what would make D&D, like what makes D&D that game, that iconic game?
Gotta be nostalgia, right?
Nostalgia,
like it's like one of the originals.
That's what I would think too.
I've never played it, so I don't know. But
yeah,
like when it comes to any like board game like that, like there's obviously like Hasbro and those, but then when it comes to like the elite games like Dungeons and Dragons, D&D has always been the one. Like even in high school, like I've never played it, but it's always been the one that's always been talked about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even more than Pokemon. I could have been just like, I'm 43, so when I was walking through the high school halls, it was like Magic the Gathering. So maybe I was just like out of the realm of Pokemon, but like to me, it just always seemed like Dungeons and Dragons was like the New York Yankees of baseball. You know what I mean? Like that was like everything falls under that, or all the games kind of try to replicate what Dungeons and Dragons did. But then again, like I said, I've never played the game, so I could be completely wrong. But that's just what I would assume is that they were the first one that really thought outside the box, and it had to be like a game where you had to think. You know what I mean? More than just like we can just do this for fun.
Right. Yeah. What's your take on where D&D?
Am I right at all on this?
Yeah. Where's your take?
You're not wrong. It's the biggest thing now, like in the last 40 years, for D&D, is that it's changed socially. You have gamers. It used to be getting made fun of playing D&D. You'd be in the basement with Doritos and Mountain Dew. That was the stereotype. And now it's like,
now you can be at the Levee drinking Mountain Dew and eating Doritos,
grabbing a beer, having fun.
Yeah, I mean, you really did nail it, man. With coming down here to the Levee to pick this spot to house everything that your dream that you've wanted to come up with, right? Because you've got it in a spot where anybody can come in, including your friends, and you're outside the house. You're able to make money doing it, and like the tournaments that you're putting on, like it's every time I walk past there, bro, it's just like all the stores are closed. We're all going home, and you guys are just in there partying.
Yeah, we're still open.
Yeah, you guys are in there partying, man. Games. And it's like, am I gonna have to learn Dungeons and Dragons just so I can hang out with these people? Because every time I walk by, bro, it's like I'm ready to go home, and you guys are just getting started.
They're just opening up the book, they're ready to go.
Dude, just 7 p.m. That's when we start, man.
That's awesome, man.
That's when it starts. But it's everybody can do it. That's the thing.
Right, and the crazy thing, man, is. Like when did you realize that you can make money on something like this? Because obviously, having fall out. My phone's about to die again. Having like a dream of opening your own clothing store or opening your own brick and mortar in general, it's like it's a great idea, but how do I make money, right? So how did you go from doing something that you love, like playing board games, to, hey, I can make money on board games?
Well, I had help with the place that was here before that I worked for. They definitely paved the way starting off.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for them for a bit, learned a lot of the trade. When they left, it's like my wife and I were just doing cosplay stuff in the trade next door to it. It's like, we can do this. I know the business.
Yeah.
I know the people. You get in there and you start it up, and it's like there's some growing pains with any business, really.
For sure.
But it's leaning into that same thing of what was being done, but doing it better.
Right.
Trying to find those points of where it's the customer service equals what they're paying.
100%. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. If you can sit there and someone comes in and it's an experience that they're having and they're just talking to you,
mm-hmm.
that does way more than anything they're going to buy.
100%, man. Absolutely. We're firm believers in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Andrew wants to pop in on that. When it comes to the store here, like one of the things that I kind of loved was seeing people walk in and then walk right back out. And so me and Andrew were like, okay, why did they stop here and walk back out? Let's put something here that's going to get them 5 feet further into the store. So then we got it to the point where they were walking towards the 7-Up machine, but wouldn't wrap around and then come back out. They would walk up and walk out. So it's like, okay. So we literally were like planting things inside the store just to make sure that people got the full experience. And so once they walk around, it's like there's clues here, there's clues there, but you're not going to see it if you just come in and then walk right back out. So without putting footprints on the floor saying walk this way, it's like, how do we entice these people to engage with us? Like once you walk, because nobody wants to walk up to the counter, right? Like nobody wants to, because then you're like, hey, how are you? Can I help you with something? It's like, no, you can't. Like I'm just window shopping. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's like, so people kind of avoid walking up to the register, just like a mental thing. It's not like I don't want to talk to them. It's just something where it's like, if I'm not buying, I'm just window shopping. I'm just going to pop in and pop out. So it's like, how do we figure out how to break that mental mindset that the customer has without posting, come here, come over to the 7-Up machine. Right, you know what I mean? Right. Like,
yeah. How do we get them involved with the store without them even realizing they're involved with the store? And it's just really about creating an environment that makes them curious. Like as you're walking around the store, everywhere you look, there's, the more you look, the more you find is kind of what I kind of say. But the more you look, the more you find throughout the store. One thing leads to another, which ultimately leads to the lab. And then you get that whole experience. And then you come out of the lab and you get a new experience because you were in the front of the store, you go to the lab, and now there's so much in the lab, and you see the detail of what's in there. So you're like, oh, well, maybe I missed something in the beginning. So I need to go back out in the front of the store and I might even come back in the lab because I need this full experience because I didn't realize I was getting experience. They'll come in, they don't even know that we're not here to sell them something. Yeah, they can purchase clothing that has nothing to do necessarily with what's on the walls because it might be a Bengals design, but what they see is the lab. They came in like, oh, I love that Joe Burrow shirt, but what's the lab? And then it creates a whole new conversation. And then the Joe Burrow shirt's on the back of their mind now. Now they're kind of curious about like, oh, I've surpassed Bengal stuff. There's something else here.
I've got to get this limited thing that nobody knows about.
Exactly. And then they're like, well, I'm going to get both the Joe shirt and this shirt because I liked that in the first place. So it kind of leads to but they come to the Levee not even knowing about us. It just never, ever, ever gets old. And I'll be real, man, like numbers wise of how many people actually say that, it's astounding, humbling, but astounding how many people say this is the coolest store they've been. And I'm like, thank you. Like, amazing that you even thought to say that. You don't walk into TJ Maxx or you don't walk into any store and be like, this is the coolest store I've ever been in. Like, you went into a store. As we retailers like go in the store, deal with the Karens or whatever out there, like hangers everywhere when people go to changing rooms and deal with the typical retail experience. You don't get that here.
Right.
There's no changing room. We don't have hangers hanging everywhere, nothing like that. We're not having to. We're doing limited pieces and an experience, and those two components. That's the
FOMO.
Perfect blend. Mm-hmm. It's a perfect blend.
Yeah.
It's a FOMO thing. Definitely a FOMO thing. But on top of that, they get to go home and tell everybody they know that they went to this store that they weren't even expecting to even. We walked into the store because there were some black lights. It looked like there was a radio station, in the window or something. They always
Everyone says radio station. You guys have a radio station here? Yeah, WKRP, bro.
Right?
Like, you finally found it.
They always think it's a radio station. They like, it's hilarious, really. But that's what they think. Perspective is reality, right? So they are like, oh my gosh, I saw this, and this, and this. They didn't even talk to us. They would just still go home and tell somebody. You know what I mean? Because you want to tell people about your trip. And if you walked into a store where you were just wandering around waiting to go into the aquarium because it's reservations and you have to wait, and then you stumbled in the store and you picked up 2 or 3 shirts, social media is gonna hear about that. You know what I mean? Even if you're in Wisconsin, or Michigan or wherever you've come here from, because on Sundays, I know you guys realize tons of tourists. Oh yeah, tourism here is wild.
We have bus tours every week. I mean,
dude,
yeah,
love them, man.
Crazy.
I love those bus tours. Those old people that walk around with those executive chains on. Every time they walk in, I'm like, "Oh, you guys are here for the
Ark?
For the Ark? Yeah. Oh, yeah, we just saw it. It was incredible. Now we're going to do the B&B riverboats." It's like, one of them's good. But
one of them's good.
But yeah, man, that's, like having that type of clientele down here, customers that come through, like it's like this is just a hub, and all those people that come from those executive buses, they're all from like places that would never come to Newport, Kentucky, like Texas, Dallas, Houston. Like a lot of them are from Texas,
major cities.
Yeah,
coming in,
and they all come here for the Ark, bro. It's
Ark.
So crazy.
The Ark is their marketing.
I've got to check it out. I still haven't been, and it's like I need to go. I need to see it. It's right in our backyard. It's like people are traveling all over the world to see this thing, and I still haven't.
It's interesting.
Is it?
It's interesting. We went with my in-laws and my wife a couple years ago.
Were they from out of town?
They're from Texas.
And was that the first time you saw it?
That was my first time.
There you go, bro.
We just said Texas.
Yeah. I just said Texas, yeah. But
we just said Texas comes here a lot.
Oh yeah,
for
Texas
that,
comes here a lot.
For that, yeah, it's wild. Yeah. Continue.
It's it's an experience. It's one of those things that you go into, and it's like you don't have to be religious or anything. Just go in and be like, okay, like this is something. You got the petting zoo and stuff for the kids, whatnot, animals, stuff. They take care of their animals. Sometimes better than some zoos that I've seen, but
sure, yeah.
You get into like the actual Ark thing itself, it's like, damn, this thing's big.
Yeah, and that from what I read, right, like they built the whole thing with the tools that they had back then, so they didn't use.
Yeah, they say that.
They say that, yeah.
There's some modern stuff there. There's no way they got to work.
Got you, dude. I was in Studio Row. So when she did the murder mystery dinner, they did it at a place in like Dry Ridge, maybe Williamstown, like somewhere in Kentucky, not far from here. But she let us go into the attic because this place was like a super haunted place, and all of the trellises from like the actual roof itself, they were all like wood pin. Like I don't even know how do you explain that. They didn't use screws, and they were all pieces of wood that had holes, and they used other like pieces of wood, and they would bang them in. So literally no screws, no anything. It was like a hole, and then you would have like a piece of wood that kind of got bigger, and they would just bang that bitch right into it, and that's how the whole wedge. Yeah, that's how the whole house was constructed, bro.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Yeah, and it was haunted.
Yeah, super haunted. Like they know it too. Like they even have like little Annie dolls like sitting in the kids' rooms and shit. Like, but that was when they did the
Annabelle.
Yeah, but that was the Clue dinner we did.
Yeah,
which was crazy, bro. Like that was such a good time, man.
Man, I want to do one so bad. I just want to do a murder mystery. I think it'd be so cool.
Yeah. We definitely next big one that she does, we're gonna have to promote it, and we'll all go to it, man, because it was a lot of fun. She had me as one of the actors. I was
Colonel Mustard.
No, Mr. Plum.
Mr. Plum.
Mr. Plum, the pool boy.
Mr. Plum, the pool boy.
And it was funny too, because like now I'm a suspect in it, right? Since I'm like an actor in it.
Yeah.
And so like through the entire thing, like I would just be sitting in the corner just staring at people, and like Aslan was there, and she's like, "What is Jay doing? Like what like talking to Kalen, like, why is he being so creepy? And I'm just over in the corner, just like staring at people.
Yeah,
and it's like I'm just trying to look guilty. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I wasn't the killer.
No.
But
do you wish you were?
No. But people, but people did guess that I was. So
if you're in the corner being creepy,
I'm a good actor. Let's go, bro.
You are. You've been in quite a few movies and films and stuff from what we talked about.
I need to update the headshots, bro, because every time I'd and I haven't done movies in a while, but every time I'd go in, I would have the eye patch on, and they'd be like, "This isn't who we chose." And like, I could take the eye patch off, take it off, my eyes all bloodshot, and they're like, "No, you can go ahead and go home." Like, they literally didn't do that, but they would like just push you off as a background extra instead of like getting like a good role. So now it's like if I could update it to.
Do you see that happening in real time?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So like give me an example of like.
There was a movie with Jessica Biel. That's Justin Timberlake's wife, right?
Okay.
I think it was called The Blunderer. There was a scene where, and this movie's really cool because it's kind of like a Hitchcock film where the killer is in a lot of the scenes, but he's hiding. He's like, there was a scene that we did where I was at a funeral for Jessica Biel's mother, and outside, we're shaking hands with one of the main actors. He's a pretty big actor. He's been in like Ray Donovan. He's Ray Donovan's brother. Okay. So, but he's walking out of the not ceremony, because you're not fucking the funeral. Like, he's walking out of the funeral and he's shaking everybody's hands, and I was one of the guys' hands that he was shaking, but I'm not shaking his hand. I'm shaking the camera, right? So like the camera is in my face, and there's a smiley face just underneath the camera that is like, this is who you're talking to. So this person's smiling at you, so make sure you smile at them. Make sure you talk to this little smiley face that's on the chin of the camera. And walking by, and it's like, shake the hand, and I don't have the eye patch on, eyes all bloodshot. Cut. Like, what's going on here? It's like, oh yeah, I got eye patch, this and that. Like, okay, let's try it again. So try it again, but he's like, can you tilt your head a little bit, like, so you can't, you know what I mean? Like, kind of like look up, and it's like, it's one of those moments, man. And like and there was another time for Plum Street. Plum Street is a place that books background extras and shit like that. And came up to a commercial that I was doing that I got booked for. And when I got there, they were like, you can't wear that eye patch for this commercial. And it's like, well, I can take it off, but I don't know if you're going to want me to take it off. I took it off, and they were like, we're not going to need you. But like the one for the Blunderer, like that was that one where I was just like.
The reality check?
Yeah, bro, because the camera was like literally right here. It was right here, like that far from my face. And it was like, that would have been like a great cameo, right, for a movie, but
sure,
cutting room floor, never made it.
And they are, because they're like cut brutal, like you're out, this guy's in, or is it like
no?
They give you a couple tries. They
gave me a couple tries, moved on. Like I didn't get cut from the scene. Like I've been cut from scenes before like that on Secretariat, but with that one it was just like, they did 3 or 4 takes and then moved on to the next one, and I just hit the cutting room floor in the long run. You know what I mean? But
man, it's because they know what they're looking for. They know what they're looking for. So it's not like if you're not hitting that mark, because
they would have thought I was the killer, bro. Like if they would have used that 10-second footage of me with a bloodshot eye going, fucking sorry for your loss, they'd have been like, that's the murderer, that's him.
But then you throw like a wrench at it, and people think that's the guy with the eye, and he just never comes back on the
right. Yeah. And then
I don't know. Maybe they missed the chance.
Let's update the headshot. Let me be the villain. I'm down to be the villain.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right, bro. Back to the Levee, man. Because this is something that I love that I see you doing, man. Is when it comes to the Levee, we've talked about it before. Like, you can have this storefront anywhere, but But the amount of strangers that we get here at the Levee, like this place is a hub for Louisville, Lexington, Columbus, Indianapolis. Like that. I mean, like weekly, I probably get 15 people from Louisville. You know what I mean? That are just here. They're just a staycation, daycation. They're just down here seeing the aquarium, seeing what we have. And you couldn't do that anywhere, man. Like even great spots in like Bellevue, just up the road here on Monmouth Street. You know, you're just outside the realm where we were saying if you don't post every single day, if you take a week off and don't post, you won't have any sales.
You won't have any sales.
You know, but for a place like this, it's like you can not post for a week and you know you'll get by. You know what I mean? You'll still do well, but it's just you got to learn how to double up and amplify what we've got going on down here. And I really feel like bouncing the ball on the court the way we are, you know, the way that, you know, I'd help print your shirts, you help stitch my hoodies. You know, there's a lot of longevity when it comes to partnerships and raising the tides here at the Levee.
Yeah, I to piggyback off that, I think when we had a meeting today. Actually, we do a lot of marketing here on the Levee where we've got events coming up. Blink is coming to the Levee.
That's
going to
be insane,
it's gonna
bro.
Be insane. But our mental frame in this is how do we work together to market to get everybody in each other's spaces? How do we get the people to where everybody is going to go into a flow and go to this location, to this location, to this location, and whether in like a pub crawl or some kind of, we've talked about a passport where we, you know, get stamps and go to each location, which we're going to keep pushing for that. But in the process, we're working together. I mean, that meeting today was a collaborative effort between all the businesses that, you know, reside here on the Levee. And with you all having such a community, your community is really strong, you know, based on just the conversation and what I've seen in person as I'm leaving the store pretty late and I see you guys are thick back there and like the very back of the store playing, I mean, in it. You're in the zone. And I love to see it because you've got people coming to the Levee to play games late. That's hard. Mm-hmm. That's a hard ask. I mean, really, like you're not at some homie's house. They put their car in the parking garage. They're paying for parking. Like they're doing the thing, you know, and that's pretty impressive. But the community you've built, like that's definitely strength in numbers, I believe. So,
oh yeah.
What are your thoughts? Yeah,
it's one of those things that if you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
that's what it is, man. It really is. Yeah. It's like that meeting we had today. My first thought on that is like, are we gonna have lights out here in the gallery?
Right.
We're gonna have stuff in here. Cool. I remember something that the other store did where they did live action Clue. They'd sit there and they marked off a little bit of area outside the storefront, and people were just playing Clue, but they were in it. They had to like roll this gigantic dice, just a D6.
Oh, that's dope, dude.
So you're talking about, you know, bringing businesses together, what we could do together, stuff like that. Oh man, it's like, hey, you got all kinds of memorabilia up there. I think you have one of your little eyeball guys. I don't know does he have a name? I'm sorry.
Blink, yeah.
Blink. You can sit there and take it. Oh, he's a murder weapon.
Right.
You put him out there and somebody's got him.
That's
awesome. It's like you sit there and you just play it, and it's like, oh, cool. You know, doing stuff like that. And you have the lights and everything down. I'm sending an email. I'm doing the email.
You're doing the email.
Doing the email tomorrow about that. But
yeah, I think it'd be great, man. This is going to have to be utilized for sure, especially like, you know, I understand turning the lights down is going to be an odd concept, like you were asking at the event, because, you know, you don't want it to be too dark. But honestly, like I was saying, that jumbotron, like, you know, you could have it flip on black and white, and you can turn this whole place into a strobe light. You know what I mean? Like that jumbotron is that powerful.
You could, and that's
dangerous.
Because it's Blink, you can get away with it for that type of. You don't have to put any epilepsy things up there.
Right, right.
But you could do that.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't take much. You know, some tape or anything out there. You could run all kinds of games.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting people in here. Some people are not going to be wanting to be outside.
Right.
When it's possibly cold. You never know. But they're not going to be out there because there might be too many people. We do have introverts that like to
sit down and hang out. Yeah.
Step away for a bit.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to think of it too, man. Is to be able to use the inside gallery as a getaway from all the madness that's going to be going on outside. Because the Newport, they told us it was just Newport and the Thompson House and Megacorp. Those are the only 3 in Newport that are going to be affiliated with Blink. And Megacorp is only an after party, so that starts at like 11.
Yep.
So, pretty much it's just going to be the front of Thompson House and then all of the Levees. So they've got like a big installment going right like where the valet is over there by Five Guys. But they're trying to lead everybody up the stairs. And like honestly, bro, like where par 3 is now, like they painted that building that like light green. That looks so good from 4 blocks away up Mama Street. Like if they could somehow just light up, I don't know if they're planning on trying to light up Brio or lighting up that par 3 behind it, but you'd be able to see that from a mile away, dude.
Oh yeah.
And that's such a perfect. It's a perfect view. It looks so good. That green looks great. It like has contrast to it. I just the Levee's really killing it with what they've been doing the past 12 months, man. I'm really excited for everything I got going on.
Me too.
It's a waiting game now.
It is a waiting game, but I think even more so, it's. Hold on one second. I think even more so than being a waiting game, I think it's understanding the potential of the area that we have and putting these businesses that you can't find anywhere
for sure
in the one location where they can only be found.
Right.
And they're doing it so well, and they're doing it so strategically. Though I still would love this corner store filled, but like outside of that one location, they're crushing it. They really are. They made the box park so accessible and made it so easy to just chill out. And then Beeline really packs it out there with the best view in the city. They got the best view.
Best view, bro.
Best view, period. Them and Brothers, best views in the city. And they're just doing a really good job at balancing family and college and then a little post-college atmosphere all into one location. That's a lot to ask. It's hard to do. You know what I mean? And they've nailed it. They've nailed it and then nailed it again. So and we're seeing that in real time. I'm excited for Margaritaville. I'm excited for all those changes to happen when those happen. Those things. What were your thoughts when they announced Margaritaville? What was your first initial thought?
Man, I love Margaritaville.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. The restaurants anywhere you go for them, they're pretty good. And they're talking about like it being like a hotel and stuff too. Most of those places, are huge tourist attractions anyway. You go down to Gatlinburg, and that's what they got there, right in that little island. It's big. It's great.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy to think that they're actually bringing something like that to Newport because, like you're saying, it's strictly a vacation destination, right? Like they don't put Margaritavilles in Cincinnati. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you're going here for business. You're coming here for P&G. You're not coming here to vacation and to see the beach. But for Margaritaville to see what we've got going on in Newport and we want to be a part of that. You know what I mean? That's crazy, dude.
Right.
He's got a theory that it has a lot to do with Joe Burrow. He thinks Joe Burrow is the reason why these companies are dumping money into the city right now.
It could be.
I do think so.
If you look on this side of the river, where are all the Bengals players going?
Oh yeah,
they're coming here. I don't see them out anywhere else like past this.
Right.
They might go over to Northern if Northern brings them over sometimes, but it's here.
Yeah.
But even just passing, like we've seen we'll buy some shoes. Go over here to J-Sal.
He brings them in, bro. He's got like, it's crazy too. Is once one of those players hears about it and gets a good deal, they're like, damn, where'd you get them shoes? They're like the Levee.
Yeah.
It's like now they're all popping in and coming down. It's really cool to see too, man. We had Chris Jenkins, a rookie from the Bengals. He second he got his check, he was still in the hotel, and one of the guys, he was like, man, this check's burning a hole in my pocket. And he was like, bro, go down to the Levee and go see the Native brand. So he came in and he was every 2XL that was on the shelves, he was just picking up. He was like, I need this. He's like, you're gonna get sick of me, man. I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna hang with y'all. He's like, you're gonna get sick and tired of seeing me. And he's a big gamer too, man. So we're gonna have to send him your way, because he was saying like, I may look one certain ways, like, but I just sit home and play video games, man. Like that's my MO. Like he's just a nerd at heart, bro.
It's cool though.
Yeah, no, it's super dope to see that, man.
Yeah, and it just shows you, like, just because you're an athlete, just because you're doing this with your life, doesn't mean you can't just kick it with the homies. You know what I mean? A lot of them play Madden, 2K. They're out there playing with the homies. They're not the field.
Chat
is
with FIFA.
Yeah. They're making their paycheck on the field, and that's what we want. We want them to earn that paycheck and show out. But when they're with their homies, like, game night, bro. Game night. It keeps you out of the streets, keeps you safe, and you're ready to go.
Keeps you out of trouble, bro.
Yeah, man. Keeps you out of trouble. And I think that's a huge component as to why they're all so good at games. I think their agents are saying, get good at something, dude.
Yeah.
Fortnite, something. I don't care what you get good at. Get good at and don't go out.
Yeah.
Because that city, like, this city isn't necessarily one of the big threats of like party cities. It
is if you're tapped into the.
If you're in, but there's some cities out there will suck them in, man.
Oh, for sure.
Suck them in, and those agents are like, you need to stay inside, have a game, do something.
I couldn't imagine being an NFL player in Las Vegas, bro. Couldn't imagine having that much money, being in Las Vegas, being able just to, everything's open 24 hours a day. You know, you can go into the casino at 3 o'clock in the morning and get fresh oxygen pumped into your lungs, where you're just wide awake. You know, you got millions of dollars in your pocket. You don't know what to do with it.
Temptation at its finest.
Man, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, everything down there is legal, pretty much, bro. Like,
and you don't have a paywall to worry about. You're just the money's.
I'll make it back on Sunday.
I'm getting another game check, and all their bills are paid from the jump, so they're good. And there's no strings attached, no worries. They just got to show up on Sunday and earn that paycheck. And you're in a city like Vegas, I mean, and you're a football player in Vegas.
Yeah.
So not only you are in Vegas with the environment, you're a celebrity in Vegas, and you're representing their team.
And every single girl that comes in contact with you is from out of town.
Everyone.
You know what I mean? Like, that's trouble, bro. That's trouble. If, like, hey, like, this girl's gonna be back in Minnesota on Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna see her again. Like, that can cause a lot of trouble for a lot of players, for sure.
Yeah, you get sucked into that world, and it spiderweb you. You're stuck, man.
Manziel, that shit.
Manziel, Johnny. What are your thoughts on Baker Mayfield this season? Speaking of the wild ones, he's pretty good, man.
I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
Bryce Young being benched
Woo.
by the quarterback guru that fixed Baker tells you something.
Tells you something
that's he was able to fix Baker. I don't think he thinks he can fix Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce.
At the moment.
But you know what? Like, you get that chance, gives a chance for Andy Dalton. Dalton,
Red Rocket, man, coming back.
Andy Dalton is getting the he's at helm. He's at the helm of the Carolina Panthers now. QB1. Shout out to Andy. Man, I got the opportunity to I used to work for Jason's Deli, actually, and I was part of their catering delivery people, if you will. But I'd set up the catering, take the catering there, set it up there, prepare it. The food was made. I'd prepare it to be catered, take it to the physical location, set it up, and do the whole thing, and then basically paid by tips plus your hourly, whatever. So I got to go to Andy Dalton's house and set up in his living room on a snowy night, which was in his kitchen area, and the whole family helped me set up, and they were all like super cool, and he was very gracious, he tipped very handsomely in the situation, but even more so than the money he gave, his hospitality when I was just going into his home to set up food, because he's a big Jason's Deli fan, huge Jason's Deli fan. It's big in Texas. There's one in Rookwood in Cincy, but which he would come in if the Bengals would win. He would bring the family in to the actual physical location and sit down, and we got to, chop it up a couple times. And he's just, he's Andy Dalton, so I got to know him, and then he recognized me. That's how it all went down. He's like, I know you, and I'm like, what's up, man? I was like, Andrew. He's like, yeah, both Andrew, and he's like, yeah, let me help you out. So they all were helping me carry it, and put it on there, and I had just drove through a snowstorm. This was like a big snowstorm, and he lived up on kind of a hill, in the Oakley Hyde Park area, and I finally got my car there, got on his hill, and then I had to take all this catering because they're big black bags that insulated and all that, and I have to carry them up this not too long, but it's ice and snow, and it's kind of a track to get up this little hill to get to his house. And he sees me, and he runs down, and I'm like, dude, don't slip, man. No, let me take my hourly wage. You are a quarterback of the Bengals.
You're the general, man.
Yeah,
don't stay on there.
Don't be coming in this ice. But he did, and we carried it in, and he helped me set it up, and we got to talking, and he was just, I would have never expected him to. There's so many people can play quarterback in the NFL. It just is that thing, and he was just so humble about it, and he's like, man, we're working. He's like, we're trying. He's like, I'm very very excited for what's to come, and even though we didn't get what we wanted out of that air with Andy, just to know he's that kind of a guy, and I'll always forever a big fan of Andy Dalton, regardless where he's playing. When he went to Dallas, he's in Carolina now. I'm just going to support him regardless if he's a Bengals quarterback or not, because of who he is as a person. It really impacted me in that half an hour, experience. But he let me in his home because he could have just taken it out the door and walked in, because you don't have to let me in.
Here's your $10.
Yeah,
tip,
yeah. Go back in the snow. Good luck out there on the road. Yeah. But no, he pulled me in, said if anything you need, they were just so hospitable in their own home for a driver of catering, you know what I mean? Essentially bringing the pizza guy in. But even though it's a little more than that, because you have to set up, there's utensils and salad and the whole thing. So it's a little bit more. It's called drop catering. You drop it off. It's all plastic. They can throw it away. But still, he didn't have to do that. You know what I mean? And he did. And I just am a huge sports fan. I got to cater at the Bengals Stadium. I could cater at the Red Stadium. I got to go to all these cool places because of Jason's Deli, because it's great food and they do good quality product. But it puts you in unique situations. The back of the zoo. I got the password to get to the back of the zoo. There's a code, and you got to go there. But they just let you in, food, because you're always everyone's so happy to see you. You're the guy that's bringing the food never sees sad faces.
No.
Ever. When he comes in, no matter how bad the day is, no matter how bad, whatever situation's happening in the office or whatever's going on, the company can be going bankrupt. But when the food comes in, because the manager needs to keep morale up, he needs to keep morale up. The food guy comes in, here's the red carpet, and you're like, oh, thank you. And you walk on, but it is true. It's so real. And it was the same situation there. But I just those experiences with Andy Dalton. So congratulations, QB1 in Carolina, Bryce Young. I'm not sure what's gonna happen with him, man. Is it over? Is that? You know how much they had to give? They're still getting. The Bears are still getting stuff from that trade. Just saying.
It's the next Rams trade that they made with the Titans years ago. They got so much. Titans got so much out of it, just for them to get Goff. And it's nuts.
Nuts.
It's nuts.
Just to get Goff. Well, no, Goff did play in the Super Bowl.
He did play in the Super Bowl.
And he is doing well in Detroit now.
Yeah.
But he is no longer in the Rams country. Rams are my team. We've talked about Rams are my teams. The Bengals are my 2A, but my AFC, NFC thing. But
you had the Kurt Warner days.
I was a big fan of Kurt Warner. Marshall Faulk was my favorite, for sure, by a landslide. I had his jersey, was recently given his jersey back because I thought I lost it, but it was in the storage. Mama found it. So it was in storage, and Mama found it, and it was returned to me, which is a pretty cool thing. Can't fit me anymore, but, got my vintage Rams official jersey. Absolutely.
Gotta keep it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, for sure. But the fastest show on turf with Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, eventually defense had Adam Archuleta. These guys were just so good. But Mark Baldry even showed out after Kurt Warner. They had the Rams had some guys those days, and that kind of football doesn't even play that way anymore. We don't even play that football anymore.
We don't play that football
anymore. No, it's not even the same.
It's not the same. You talk about, you put, there's very few players you can take and put in the league 10, 20 years ago and still be successful like current ones. Mahomes, I think Mahomes would have been fantastic still. You put Derrick Henry 10, 20 years ago, Henry could have been average.
Could have been average, yeah.
He could have been average in that league because it's completely changed. Less physical. It's like people are still getting hurt, but you're talking about the injuries like from the 90s and 80s. Those aren't happening anymore.
No, they're not. No,
you're not seeing the Alex Smith type of injuries that much.
And now the hip tackle rule, which is would hurt Mark Andrews last year, which is the reason it's went into effect because it was like he was like the last straw for whatever reason. Mark Andrews is the last straw. I mean, they've been knowing the hip tackle forever. They've known it's been a problem, but Mark Andrews getting hurt was what broke the camel's back. I don't know, but like
explain that to me. So why is the hip tackle so dangerous? Because you're grabbing the back of the jersey, or because from what I heard with the Jamar Chase thing, that's what it was, and it split his elbow open. Like, did you hear that his elbow? He cut his elbow when he came down. The way that he pulled him down, his elbow hit his cleat or hit his knee or something, and split his elbow open. So I don't know, like, if that had anything to do with it, but
I just think that tackle, though, I know it's definitely poses dangers, but it's just physical sport. So I think all of them pose dangers. I mean, Tua just got a concussion off a routine hit.
Yeah.
You know,
it was barely a hit. It was he like ran into Damar Hamlin pretty much.
Yeah, he caused his own concussion. Now he is at a sensitive, vulnerable state, and we know that.
If he's not fully fixed, bro, then don't step on the field.
They just put him on IR today.
They just put him on IR. Yeah, 4 weeks out now, which it's unfortunate. He's not going to retire, though. He did say he's not going to retire. A lot of people thought he was going to choose the family or the
community was fucking telling the NFL to force him to retire.
Yeah.
Like right after that hit, I just saw it all over Facebook. Like, the NFL needs to make him retire, and I'm just thinking to myself, like,
they can't make anyone.
No, bro. Like this. Like, if he wants to die on the field, this dude should be able to die on the field if he wants to. You know what I mean? Like, you're not just gonna stop somebody's career because people online say that you should. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think with Tua is he plays the quarterback position, which is the most protected position in all of sports. So because he's playing the most protected position, he should see the least amount of injury. So he's recurring.
Same injury.
Same injury. It's basically knocking his injury loose, which means it's far deeper than we can probably even comprehend.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we may not have full science to even get back to where he was prior to all this. You know what I mean? So if you're not going to retire, change the way you play football. Running backs, they're utilized.
That's their job.
Mostert's solid. I mean, these guys, they've got solid guys there. Change the way he needs to stop the running. He needs to become more of a pocket passer. Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers are doing that currently. There are ways that he can avoid these injuries. I'm not saying it's going to be bulletproof, but change the way you play some football. I mean, he's got a good arm. He literally he's throwing to the best wide receiver, the fastest, not the fastest technically. Xavier Worthy is the fastest, but Tyreek Hill is right there. You have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. You've got fast guys. You don't need necessarily to run. Stay in the pocket. If you're not going to retire, have that pocket hold up. Make sure the linemen understand the assignment and go about it that way. Otherwise, I think this injury is just going to haunt him till the end. And that's just the reality of it. I think it's going to haunt him until, people stop picking him up in fantasy football. Stop counting on him for this. And before you know it, the Dolphins are going to draft somebody, his replacement, and that's the beginning of the end. And, I mean, Aaron Rodgers saw it come with Jordan Love. It happens. Father Time is undefeated. And I think that is – and Tua has a shorter time limit, I think.
You think Brett Favre really acquired over 1,000 concussions in his career? Have you heard him state that?
I've heard that. I believe that. I believe you can get a concussion every single play.
I mean, it kind of seems like once the damage is done, you're just re-breaking a bad toe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like once you've already had one concussion, every time that brain's loose, it's just like bouncing around in that skull.
Yeah.
I mean, 1,000 concussions is crazy to say. Like, well, I've been hit, 1,500 times, and 1,000 of them has been
probably hit
concussed.
Way more than 1,500.
Right, for sure. It's Brett Favre.
I mean, he's probably been hit. He probably was, by the time he was halfway through his career.
Was he almost 20 years in the league?
Long enough to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long. I mean, and the Packers have just had QB. They've been in QB. They've had Favre, Aaron Rodgers. Now Jordan Love's looking good. They just get so much like that organization just does quarterback differently than others, but they're not looking too great. Just saying. And I'm gonna shift it real quick back to the Thieves Guild thing because I did want to touch something before we jump into sports again. Do you find when you are there that you find people that do like sports and games, or is it just generally like because I like both, right? I carry those RuneScape little keychains on my wrist, on my hip. I showed you that and stuff, and that's that's a game where you enjoy the process, right? But do you find that people come in like, oh, I'm mostly into sports and football, but this is something I have a girlfriend that does this now, or I have new friends that are playing. They invited me out, and the first timers that are coming in that maybe like that's an environment that unfamiliar. You gotta grow somehow with new situations. So you find those that are people that have never even played a game at all.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of them that come in, and when they come in, they're giving a basic overview. Usually they've seen it online. There's enough streamers out there that stream their D&D content, and they've gotten big. And the biggest one was Critical Role, probably still are. And they're a bunch of voice actors that you guys probably know. They're in like tons of different anime. They've done all kinds of different things. Matt Mercer, Travis Willingham are two of the bigger ones. At least my opinion, those two are my favorites.
Okay, yeah. And are these local or these are national?
No.
How do you?
These guys are like in like top tier productions stuff. Laura Bailey's another one, but there is one of them in Critical Role that is Kentucky born. I think she was born in Western Kentucky. She's married to Matt Mercer. Her name escapes me off the top of my head. I don't know. Her character's name was Keyleth, but she's local. And
it's awesome.
It became a joke in their whole show because one of them's from Travis Willingham's from Texas. And she'll say something about frog gigging or something like that. And he's like, Kentucky. Every time it's like, that's Kentucky over there all the time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Marisha Ray, that's her name. And
that's a good recall, bro. You just pulled it out.
Dude,
it's
there. It's there. It may not be right in the front of the line, but it's there.
Yeah. You got a lot of knowledge in that head of yours, man.
You have to, man. You have to in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
For D&D stuff, I mean, some of the animes that you might have heard of, like Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop. I mean, these people were
Cowboy Bebop. Oh, it's been a while since I've heard that.
Yeah. Ghost in the Shell. I mean,
but like, Gundam Wing. That was around that time too, right? I mean, I used to listen. I used to watch Cowboy Bebop, Gundam Wing. That was a
Yu Yu Hakusho is out there.
Yeah, man, what a throwback! Because it's been a while for me since but yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
It's it's keywords. You hear certain stuff like, oh, I remember that. Yeah.
But, these are famous people that got together and they're like, hey, we want to stream a D&D game. They're already making money. They're they're professional voice actors, but they go in there and they streamed it. People loved it. It killed for the last 10 years. It's just been going up. It's helped D&D a lot. Helped them make it a lot more social.
That's awesome.
To where it's giving faces to the actual characters that are sometimes played.
Oh, for sure.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Like you said that you did some acting stuff.
Yeah.
You probably love D&D because you go in there and you make a persona instead of like being given like a role. You're making up your own role.
That's awesome.
That's it. You can sit there and depending on what you're doing, it changes. Mm-hmm. But like in a game, if you're the game master, you can end up talking to yourself in between 2 or 3 different characters.
Okay.
While the players are sitting there listening to this conversation because it's a story. But for myself, I'm not one that's like gets, super big into like the voice acting and stuff like that, because you can't. I don't have the dialect for it. I can go, between its different voices, but I'm never going to be as good as one of the voice actors.
They're good, bro. They're good. I've got one of the fans of the brand is Lonnie Manella, who she's this beautiful 60-something-year-old petite woman who does the craziest voices. She her main character is Nancy Drew.
Oh, okay.
So she does all the Nancy. Well, used to do all the Nancy Drew voices for the first 20, 30 like video games, and then they went to somebody else. Just within the past like 4 years or something, they went with somebody else. But she's also done one of the Sonic characters, the female.
Amy.
Is that who it is? So she does that. She's actually selling like autographed Funkos right now of the Amy, whatever the Sonic character is. But she also did the like I said, petite 60-something-year-old blonde lady. She did the demon voice for that movie Smile. So like, do you remember the movie Smile where everyone's like just like it's almost like some type of disease that they get where they're just smiling and then they see a ghost that kills them. She was that groggy, drooling voice. That was her, bro. And I'm like, she is so amazing at what she does. There's no fucking way that I could ever be that good at being able to change my voice into these different realms and different octaves where, some blonde petite lady's got this voice of a straight demon, bro.
Just learn how to use your diaphragm.
Yeah,
just
like literally, bro.
Down. Yeah. Because it's almost like when you push down on it.
See, you will be good at voice acting.
It kind of makes the sound for me, I guess you could say. Because like when I use the diaphragm, I'm using my own voice. I'm not contorting my voice. But if I were to, I guess I could probably make all sorts of like.
See, contorting is like I just watched something last week and they were talking about voice actors, and you know what? It might have been like Shane Gillis, maybe like talking about how he's able to do the Trump voice and do these other voices, and he's like, all you got to do is just you take the voice and you put it in the back of your throat. He's like, so you're talking like this, or like he's like so what you're saying, how you're tweaking your voice. You don't do it because you can do it from your diaphragm because you're like a real legit singer. But it's amazing to see this shit, bro. It's like, because everybody that hears their own voice, they go, I don't ever want to hear that again. Yeah. Like, I don't sound like that. You're like, you've sound like that my entire life, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it doesn't sound bad to me.
I don't think of it like that.
Yeah.
I don't even. The sound of your voice is just the sound of your voice, and they can't change it. The headphones. Do you wear headphones ever when you're podcasting?
When we stream a game, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because like we were me and my wife were watching Mr. Beast on Joe Rogan's podcast, and within 30 seconds of the podcast, like Mr. Beast is like, I got to take these off, man. I can't do it. And like Caitlin was like, does that bother you? And I was thinking like, I was trying to think about it because it's like I don't even hear my voice in my head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I do know that if the three of us didn't have headphones on, it's a disaster. It's like you talk over each other. You don't listen to what like other people are saying. Like there's a lot of dialect that goes into using headphones.
Yeah. Because I don't with the headphones on, I don't have to look at you to totally understand what's happening.
Right.
Like I don't have to look at you. Like trust me, you can say every word and I'll hear every word. The listening abilities are there. But like in comprehension, I guess you could say. But like I can look out here in this area and not miss
track of the conversation
at all. Like period. Like when you're talking, I don't have to be looking at you. I know exactly what's happening. I'll recall what you said.
I mean, you even know when to pick up the conversation because like you can hear when my dialect is ending
when you're changing. Yeah. But if you didn't have if I didn't have the headphones on, I could still hear it. But I don't know if it'd be effective still because I can still understand. But there's the headphones like hyper focus you being in my ear rather than me having to hear over the table and listen to you talk, Ryan. And then you're closer to me, so that's a little different. But like the guest, I don't have to listen over the table. He talks, I listen.
Right.
It doesn't matter where I'm looking. Eye contact doesn't matter in this case. That's where I think they help the most on the listener end of things. But we did the sports talk without headphones for a while, and that I do that just fine.
Two people is cool to do without headphones because it's just banter back and forth.
Exactly. But it's this the headphones make it so much more it helps the whole thing just flow. You're not talking over each other. Right? That's a good point.
It helps narrate.
Yeah, because if you're talking over each other with the headphones on, you both know you're talking over each other. You both are. The headphones are only bringing so much in. Without the headphones, the voices are passing you and passing, and it doesn't really matter. But the headphones tell you right away who's who. Because sometimes if you both talk at the same time, someone has more momentum than the other, so you can overtalk them. It's
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain.
It's like your mind almost doesn't let you like I could try to talk over you while you're talking, but since the headphones are on, it's like the jack is already inputted into the brain, so the brain wants to listen, not talk.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's something wild about that.
It is wild. It's something we don't think about that often. It's just subconscious. But I think the headphones. But it also I will say, it also adds to the experience, because even though we are doing the podcast ourselves, we are having an experience, and I think it adds to the experience. It allows me to hear you clearly. I'm not really listening to myself, even though I can hear myself in my headphones. I'm not really thinking about that. I'm thinking about my next thought. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about the next thing that I'm trying to gear the conversation towards, going something, whatever. My actual voice. Hey, what's up, guys? My actual voice,
appreciate you coming through. That was quick.
Hey, nice. But when I listen back to the podcast and listen to my voice, and sometimes I'm just like in this moment, I'll probably listen to myself. I'm like, Andrew, you should have wrapped that up 10 seconds ago.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's times I'm like, you should have wrapped that up 10 seconds ago. You overtalked that. You spoke 15 too many words. Does anyone care? No one is worried about that.
Nothing editing software can't fix.
Exactly. But I'm thinking about it because I'm in the chair doing the thing. But you as the listener, it's just me talking. And you're going to listen to it. And then the next part, and Ryan, your turn. You're going to speak, right? So here you are. But the thing is that we as people are our self-critics. You hear in your voice, you're judging your own self. And it's just human nature. I don't think it's a bad thing. But when people complain about their sound of their voice, you can't change that. That's just... You can't. Voice actors even don't change their voice every day. They change it to the character maybe if they have to run multiple characters. But I think a lot of those voice actors are doing something so natural anyways.
For sure.
They're not having to...
It's something that comes so natural to them. And it's something that comes natural to me as well. Like when I do D&D stuff, if I'm talking between, myself, because it's two different NPC characters that I created.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just what has to happen. And, you have two different types of voice actors, though. You have the ones that can change the octave and everything and just have massive control, or you just have the ones that do the dialects. And for D&D, you could it's either one's perfect. I can sit there and have this conversation to you, and just go into it. Kind of like a Brooklyn accent type of thing. We keep going back and forth, and it keeps going, and then it could go into something else where it's just like. I use this one for a pixie sometimes. Well, I'm kind of here, and I like to do things with the cleaning and everything. But you just kind of go back and forth.
Oh, yeah. That's
you're
cool.
able to switch between that.
Yeah.
As a DM or Dungeon Master in that regard. The immersion really happens. But people can do that with just the dialects, changing it up. I bet you'd be good at dialects.
Changing the feel of the environment you're in by just your voice.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued, man. We're gonna have to go over there and play a D&D tournament one time. You actually have another tournament coming up too, right? Besides the TCG, you've got the Sorcery Contested Realms tournament.
Yeah, that's the one that's this Saturday.
This Saturday coming up. All right.
That one's that's a really interesting game.
Tell me about it. So what did I say? Sorcery Contested
Realms, yeah.
Contested Realms, and that's an actual like board game as well.
It almost plays more like a board game. It is a trading card game. You build a deck. The best way to describe it is you take old school Magic, and then you combine it with chess.
Okay.
You have a board. You sit there and you move all kinds of like your cards and stuff around.
Mm-hmm.
But the whole artwork is old school.
Oh,
it is the
dope.
stuff that's Magic began on.
Oh, nice.
Which is really cool. And they've done like some interesting things with the game where they have cards that are just, they're hard to get. They're like artist proofs that they put in the set, which is really cool.
Nice.
Not many games do that.
Yeah.
At least not that I've seen. Oh, it's Tyler. Tyler, here's the other owner.
Hey, Tyler, what's going on, bro?
Come stick on the couch. You'd like around this way.
Around this way. So speaking of chess, man, is the 3D chess a real
right
thing?
There as well.
Yeah, it's a real thing. Do I play it? No.
Okay. Because like I'm a Big Bang Theory fan, bro. Like that TV show is just fucking. It's great background noise.
Yeah.
And then they've got the. Go ahead and straighten out that camera if you can. Sheldon on the game is like obsessed with that 3D chessboard. And I'm like, is this like, how would this even work, bro? Is that real? Like, because obviously Third Rock from the Sun, fucking Big Bang Theory is one of those shows that's like so not far-fetched, but like so smart that it's like, is this real? You know what I mean? Or did they just make this game up for this show?
It's definitely real. Do they follow the exact rules that people have made for it?
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. It's possible.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like you can make anything look legit.
Right.
It's the perception thing. That's really it.
I'd love to learn how to play it, man. I'm like, I always tell people like life is just a game of chess. Like the sooner that you learn that the game of chess, you've got pawns. You lose your friends throughout the time. You've got your knights and your castles, and like these are the things that are close to you. And the queen can do whatever the fuck she wants. She can go across the board. She can go diagonal. She can go backwards. She can travel wherever she wants. And the king can only do a two-step. He can only go 2 forward, one left, or 1 forward, 2 left. But without the queen, you're fucked. In the game of chess, and, you can win at the game of chess without the queen, but it's really fucking hard. And it's like the more that you can analyze the game of chess and put it towards life, it's gonna make life a lot more understandable. You know what I mean? Just because we're all in this together, bro. Like I was talking to Andrew earlier. Like I didn't know when I became an adult. You know what I mean? Like like I'm married now. It's like, but we still don't have our bank accounts tied together. You know what I mean? And it's like nobody teaches you how to do this. Like my dad passed away at the wrong time, and then when my dad passed away, my mom just she packed up and left. You know what I mean? She didn't leave me. Like she's like I still talk to her every day, but she had to just go do her own thing. And it's like I'm married now, and it's like, but I don't feel like an adult, bro. You know what I mean? Like how do I get to that point where I feel like I'm in my dad's shoes? And I don't know if we're ever going to feel that way because of how society is with TV, technology, everything going on right now. It's like, can we go back to how grandma used to be? You know what I mean? Where we used to have dinner on 7:00 every night, at the dinner table. Like, I feel like all this is just going to the wayside now because of how fast pitched everything is these days, man.
Man, it really is fast. Everything's so fast, and it's like looking back. Same thing. I'm married now. We don't have our bank accounts joined, but it's like, is that okay? I think it's okay. It's not that big a deal.
Right.
Like, I make my own money. My wife makes her own money. There's no reason that it always has to be together.
Right.
Sometimes for some situations it's safer. You never know.
100%, bro.
But no, it's. I think when you really become an adult is when you realize that everyone that's in power does not give a shit about you.
Yeah.
That's when you realize that, and you look at everyone else around you, and they don't care about you, any of us. That's when you become an adult.
All right.
That's when
I'm here with that. Yeah, I believe that.
That's the most adult opinion I think you can come up with.
Right.
It's like you're all in the same boat. Everyone's doing their own thing, trying to survive.
Yeah.
help each other out.
I think that the moment that you feel like you're an adult is when you get pulled over by a police officer that's younger than you, and you're like, what the fuck is going on, bro? You know what I mean? Like, Jimmy, you know what I mean? Like, you're Frank's son. What are you doing? It's like, oh shit, bro, I'm getting too old now at this point.
All those athletes that are
that mic right there. Now, you can keep that one. Just pull that one up. There you go.
I was saying all those athletes that are all young, those 18 to 21-year-olds going in the NFL or MLB.
Cashing out now, man. It's crazy, bro. If I think a kid broke that this morning, so if it starts to fall on you, you can just pull that right out and just hold it whenever you're talking. That's one of the issues, man. Like, the first store that we had was actually where J Sal's spot was. That used to be like 3 storefronts right there instead of like the big trade area. And we had the podcast sitting up there, no stage, no fence, and kids would just come up and just start fucking messing with everything. And it's like, I'm, again, YouTube University, bro. So like, I didn't go to school for this. Like, I taught myself on YouTube. So in a month from now, like, I forgot it all. You know what I mean? I'll have to go right back to YouTube to try to find that same video to figure it out. So we built this stage to keep all the kids away, and this little 2-year-old kid just hopped right up there, just started kicking all the wires and started messing with everything, and his mom was up there buying something. So it's like, I don't want to be like, go get your kid. Yeah, you know what I mean? So it's like, oh, your kid's over there in my podcast area with thousands of dollars worth of equipment. But
anyway, battles,
man, you know what, dude, and it's I love having this podcast here in this front window, bro, because like most stores, they want to allocate the storefront, the windows to clothing, material, things like that. But people walk in, and like Andrew said, like, you guys do a radio show here? It's like, yeah, bro, we interview local natives. If you've got a business that you want to promote an event, and right away, it's like they either know somebody that they want to get on the podcast or they want to be interviewed.
Oh yeah.
So it like breaks the like we were saying earlier. It breaks that come buy stuff. Come here and buy clothes. Like, this is more than just that. This is like an interactive retail store, which I posted in the YouTube comments. I posted that you guys are very like interactive as well over there with being able to play the games and stuff like that. Like, have you ever thought about doing what those voice actors are doing and just live streaming your nighttime games? Like, even if nobody pays attention, and that's the thing that I've learned here. Like, I've got to get the online content out, and I print stuff right there. While the store is slow. So I bought these glasses that have the camera in it, so I can just, I can do my daily, grinding of printing shirts without even holding a camera, without even worrying about it. And like, as long as my mindset is, it doesn't matter if anybody's watching. If one person's watching, that's great. You know what I mean? But I just keep putting it out there because it's like, at some point it's going to catch on, and when it does catch on, you want to have all this back footage to show, like, hey, this is what we've been doing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it's when it comes to streaming games, you have to have the right people for it.
Yeah,
right people in the right positions. One, people you can trust, not to say something stupid that gets you canceled anymore. Right. You also, not everybody's comfortable doing it, which is fine. That's not a big deal. It's one of those things that place I used to work for, they try to force on people. Mm-hmm. And it's like, hey, we want to stream your games, and they're just like, we're not cool with that. Well,
yeah.
If you're not cool with that, then I guess you're not using this space. It's like you don't make that decision for players.
Yeah,
that's not good customer service.
Yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot on that one.
Yeah, but I'm in a game that we stream every Tuesday. Mm-hmm. In fact, our game master lives in Australia.
Oh shit!
So it's like she wakes up in the morning to run a game, and we're just like about to get it's dark outside now.
That's dope though, man. That's so cool being able to connect with other people from other countries just on something that you guys just love doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so accessible anymore. And the social stigmas and everything about it have changed so much. Stranger Things also brought a lot of attention.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
A lot of attention. The D&D movie that they had, with a great representation of it, because it showed stupid shit that would happen.
Yeah.
I mean, people think that it's all about like heroes and villains. It's like, oh no, we just spent an hour shopping and trying to steal from this guy, and then we accidentally killed him. And it's just like, what? How did this happen? Like, how did you get to that point? It's like, shit happened, bro. That's just what happens.
Right.
But it's fun.
Yeah, games can go off the rails pretty quick. I played in our one shot last Saturday, and it went totally off what we were supposed to do.
I mean, that's the fun part, though, right? Is like just being with the boys, and shit goes awry. It's like, all right, let's make it happen. So you're co-owners in Thieves Guild. You want to introduce yourself, bro?
Yeah, my name's Tyler Haverly, and Ryan helps me out a lot. I still work at Fidelity full time, so I can't be at the shop 24/7 like Ryan can. So,
bro, it's great to have a partner, man. Like me about him. You know what I mean? Like
I echo that. Yeah, same with Ryan here.
Yeah, he's got. I mean, it hasn't happened in a while. Like where my fucking wires are frayed. You know what I mean? Like, but like the way that I say it is like, if there's something going on in my head where like the ship's sinking, like I've got some frayed wires and they're just sparking. You know what I mean? And it's just like he sees it right away, and he's like, bro, what do we have to do? Like he talks me off that edge so often, and it's just like, he's a very the milk's already spilled kind of guy. You know what I mean? Like, don't complain about the milk. It's already on the ground. Let's figure out how to clean it up. You know what I mean? Those are the type of people you need in your corner, man. The ones that are trying to raise the ship, not sink it. You know what I mean? Like, we say very often, if you're not putting out energy, you're draining it. You know what I mean? Because the whole woe me people, the people are like, oh, this sucks. Fucking. So I'm so tired of people not coming down to the levee. It's like, then do something about it, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you live here. We can change the pendulum, but it's not gonna change with complaining. You know what I mean? The milk's already spilled.
And to piggyback and appreciate that, but I do think that we as people know what we like, and we understand what other people would like, because we are everyday people with everyday situations. So if we can put our experiences together, I don't think there's not something we can't overcome. Because like you said, spilled milk, where's the towels?
Yep.
Let's clean this up. All right, we need more milk. All right, let's use the person that's mobile and go get more milk and come back. You know what I mean? Let's go. These are easy solutions. But if you just stand there and look at the problem, you're like, oh, woe is me. I'm a victim here. This is terrible. Let's just call it a day and wrap up. We're done. And then like you get your emotions and you let's take these emotions, and the emotions we're all human. We understand that like feelings happen. But if you can put them aside for a little bit and just get the solution, when it's all done, how great are your emotions going to be when it's fixed? And you don't have to worry about that anymore. When you wake up the next day and that problem is alleviated. And like I kind of like look at it as like, you don't want to go to bed angry or sad, because it really affects how you sleep and then the next day. So if you can find a solution right from the jump, and at least you get a jump on the situation, that makes everything else after that much, like, it's smoother. Everything is smoother. And then when you start a solution, you might end up working out better than if the problem never existed in the first place, because you've already got a solution to it in the future. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes problems are there to teach us lessons. And I really fully believe that. And I take that on, head first, because I'm like, you know what? This problem is going to be so much better when I have a solution in the future. I do this show called Beyond the Stage, where I interview these artists once a month at Madison Live. Leaf and Limb, they donate plants. I've got sponsors. Native's a part of it, and I interview these artists at Madison Live. But it's an LLC. I'm a business owner. It's a whole thing, but part of it was finding solutions to problems that I didn't know existed before I started doing the show. You know what I mean? Like, where the placement of the couch is, because I'm putting a couch on the stage and interview these artists. Where's the best place for the couch? You don't even think about that until the time comes, and you're like, all right, well, it didn't work out that first one. I need to figure out new solutions. And then how do I get people to get involved with the show? Oh, I should do this. How do I do this? How do I do this? And before you know it, I figured all this stuff out. And then the next show that comes up, I've got no problems. There's no stress. It has sorted itself out because I was not afraid to take action and execute it and find the solution rather than be like, oh, another problem. My life. When it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. And then over the time, when you're talking to yourself like that, you want to self-speak in a positive manner too.
When it rains, it pours. My favorite line is "Life's all about walking in between the raindrops, bro."
I love that. That was on a shirt. It was like one of the shirt. That was one of the cool. Like, bring that one back. Yeah. But that's the thing is you are doing that.
That was a shirt when the store almost shut down. I had to post that online to try to recoup some sales,
get some buzz going. Yeah. But that's the pivoting that I'm talking about, that he's talking about, that I like to perpetuate. I think pivoting, but not only pivoting, I think leaping off that pivot foot. Go to the basket. Score the easy two. Get yourself some momentum going. I think life's about momentum. I think that's really what it comes down to, is creating momentum for yourself. So then the next step is that much further. Use life like a treadmill. When you're walking, you're going so much further per step. You're moving further along, and you can't do that if you don't put the first foot forward. And it seems so easy, but once that first bit of turbulence happens, that's really kind of, it makes or breaks somebody. And I'm sure you guys deal with a lot of turbulence in your so like anything recently that you've had to overcome that whether it's maybe a tournament, trying to get the outreach, trying to get new viewers, new people, anything that you've got. Like, we've had the same guys here each week. We love these guys, but you want to get some new faces in, right? Anything that's kind of come your way as a team,
The way that I look at things, and this comes just from me being there more often, is if there's not an apparent problem, you're not paying attention as a business owner. There should always be some sort of problem, whether it's minor or big. And if you don't see one, you're not paying attention to your own business. You're not actively looking to what you can do better.
Mm-hmm. True.
The biggest thing that I don't know everything. I know collectively we don't know everything.
Sure.
But going to like different conferences and stuff like that.
Learn a lot.
You learn a lot.
Yeah.
That was the first big step. We went to Gamma back in March down in Louisville. It used to be held in Reno. It's a retailer run, or it's for retailers. You go there, you see new products, you have seminars, all kinds of stuff. Making that first leap into that, it's like finding, hey, where do I find these answers? It has kept the ball rolling since we came back in March. It just kept going further and further towards like, oh, there's another thing. It's just seminars. Go to it. See if we can go to it, see what's going to be beneficial. If it's not beneficial, I know next year, which is great. Locally, biggest stigma is not being the store that used to be there.
Oh.
That's the biggest thing.
People living in the past a little?
People come in thinking, well, they see me, I used to work for them. They see me and
they recognize your face.
They recognize me.
Yeah, sure.
They're like, oh, man, is it still the same place? And it's like, no, it's a different place. Took over from old management and everything. And especially if like some people come in with great experience, some come in with bad experiences. And it's just like, I'm not them. That's cool. But it's, you just have to shrug it off.
Were you a part of the previous entity, or how did your...
I was not.
Okay.
Ryan and I actually met through a game called Flesh and Blood, which is a card game.
Okay.
And then, when was it that I decided... Well, when did we start talking about doing a store?
Last year, about 2023 in like March.
Okay.
I think it was talking about doing a store.
Spring 2023?
Because I had always wanted to do a store, and then I was like, I know nothing about running a business, and I knew he
There's
did.
a lot to learn.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn, yeah.
I still
Even where do you get your internet? the powerful enough. Like literally just something like to power this store, it's not easy. You have to have proper internet. You can't just get your home internet. Yeah, anyways, continue.
Yeah, because I was like, there's no way I'll be able to do this by myself because I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know the first thing about running a business. And then I was like, when previous said store that he used to work for, when got let him go, we'll say.
Parted ways.
I was like, that's like perfect because he has all the knowledge, and then I was the one that put some of the starting money into the business.
The capital, yeah. And what do you think you've learned the most from now being a business owner for a year and a half?
We're coming up on a year.
Yeah, we're coming up on our year anniversary.
Oh, okay. So the March of 2023 was when the idea was initiated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
So what do you think you've learned in this year of entrepreneurship?
That's a you, man.
You personally.
Yeah, I know.
Ryan's learned a certain... same question if you'd like to answer, but...
Let's see
I'll let you
here.
go first.
Yeah. The biggest thing. It has nothing. It has nothing to do with the games. It has to do with the banks are difficult with change. I don't know.
I'm bad with questions on the spot.
Okay, I understand. That's good. It is a podcast. So take your time.
I think learning just with learning how to build the community. What do I need to do, or how to get the people. The other aspect, which I still need to learn from Ryan, would be I don't know how to do the ordering or where to go to. I mean, he showed me a little bit before, but
wholesaling.
Yeah, we have distributors.
Ordering through the distributors and stuff. Yeah. So that's something I still probably need to learn because I don't know how to do it myself. Like if ever he needs to go on vacation, or if I have to run things by myself and take a week or two off from my regular job.
With the order, just like us ordering shirts and that whole process. So when you do order stuff, are you ordering the newest games, or are you ordering a lot of the stuff that's popular? Are you trying a little bit of both? How does that how do you go about when you're...
It's a little bit of both. You kind of feel out the communities, depending on distributors. There's a new product to come out, and you guys probably see this too, where it's like, hey, it's a new thing coming out, a new trend. How long is it going to last?
Yeah.
Is it going to last very long?
Right.
Is it worth my time investing in it?
Yeah.
And for the gaming stuff, because new stuff coming out is relatively cheap, there's no reason not to take a chance on it. But when it comes to things like Magic's a big one because it's been around forever. It's not going anywhere, but some other products suck. That's just what it is, and I'm not afraid to say that.
Yeah, tell me about why do you think it is a lesser product, or a product is not up to your standard?
It's the players. The players don't want the product. If
what do you mean?
Well, for example, there was one this year that came out that was murder mystery. That was the whole thing about it.
Murder mystery.
Yeah, it's like all the cards were a murder mystery incorporated.
Okay.
And some people were interested in it, but asking around, it didn't seem like a lot of hype, so we didn't buy a lot of it. But any distributor, salesman, they're going to try to get you to buy it because it's the new one. You buying the new Magic set? And it's like, no, I'm good. I'm going to buy a little bit of it, but not much. And we did well on that. We made the right decision because stores around here that just follow the steps and just keep buying,
and it wasn't selling
with it.
And it was collecting dust.
It's still collecting dust.
Still,
it's still there.
They still have it in stock.
A lot of stores still have it, and nothing against them because that's their model they follow. I look at that. Some of the stores that have been around forever, they got the capital. They can do that. They're okay. I look at every dollar as is this going to come back?
Yeah. Is this dollar going to make $3 or however it's going to go about it? Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So Magic the Gathering dabbles in. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They do all kinds of themes. They did a dinosaur theme last year. They did
that's cool.
Fallout, like the video game.
Okay.
They had a crossover with it. Assassin's Creed just came out. Some Magic cards that you see some of your favorite video game characters on there, and those did really well. But some of them, if you don't hear the hype from your community, there's no reason to buy it.
Interesting. They have really cool artwork still.
There's some cool artwork.
Magic always had the cool art. When I was little, it was like I even say on this podcast, I've said it before. We've talked about Magic on a couple different situations. Just personal experience as Andrew Eisler and as much as I'm in the arts now, actually, because the art on the actual cards, the game was fun, but I had a beast deck growing up, and there are a lot of forest things, and I don't know what I'm 12, dude. I'm 13, but I'm these are really cool. This is so cool. And then I started seeing artists out there doing art not making Magic cards, just similar art. I'm like, oh, that's like the Magic card, and but it started just playing a card game after we moved on from Pokemon and got a little bit older. But I just started the cards. I'm like, this art is so cool. The specters, different things that they put on these artists. I don't know who's making them out there. I don't know these guys, but they're making a ton of these artists.
Some of them are local.
Oh, okay.
We have a couple local artists. I think I live in Fort Thomas.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
I've met a couple. I've met both of them. Cannot remember their names to save my life.
But to make Magic the Gathering art on their cards, that's just cool. I'm seriously, it literally led me to art, even though it was like a subconscious thing, I think. But I kind of think when you think back to like where you're like the first art you really thought of, whatever that started, I'm like, it really kind of came back to those swamps and forests and Magic the Gathering, and I kind of run the course to that point, which is real. It was a real experience, you know what I mean? But like it was from a card game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really. So and now I'm like putting art vendors and this thing and this thing and this thing have nothing to do with a card game at all. I don't know if they've ever played or not, but the point is it started somebody from something. Me in Kentucky, moving on from Pokemon to this other game that my friend was playing. I was like, all right. He's like, dude, you can get he's like, you can, what did he call it? Dragon and then this other thing. He's like, these cards are so cool, and like this card can make you invincible. All these different things, like all these relic cards, all these different things. I was like, that's really cool. And he's like, man, it's just like RuneScape is, like with all the dungeon stuff and all the castles and everything. He's like, it was an easy fix. But then I started looking at the cards itself. I'm like, these are actually pretty cool, man. He's like, yeah, they're cool, but he didn't care about the art as much. He was like on that. I was like, that's interesting. But that's where my brain went. You know what I mean? I was already playing music. I was playing bass and practicing and stuff like that. But my eyes were open because of a card game that had nothing to do with that. And that's the impact these things have on, you know, our minds as this place. There's that feeling, that warm fuzzy feeling you get like when you're winning or you get a certain card of the deck or whatever, open a pack and you get you know, a feel good moment of like something. And I think that's kind of like you guys are bringing like a value that, like you said, building community. I think to get them there, it's about how people feel, you know, and you're just creating a feeling on top of having fun. Like literally, I mean, you've dream job. You know what I mean? You're in the category of what you guys are doing, in my opinion, because you get to do what you love.
It's tougher than most people think.
Oh, I bet you it's tougher. For sure, tougher. Oh, absolutely.
You just know it just from a business standpoint. Any business, especially, I consider ourselves low level. It's hard. It is hard to get started, hard to continue, especially in the first year. I mean, I always heard that first year is the worst.
But you're making it.
We're making it. That's good.
When is the exact date for the first year?
October 1st.
That's beautiful. October 1st.
October 1st.
We're
close.
2 weeks away from that. Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll say October 1st for the actual storefront. We technically started.
Yeah, we did some online sales stuff beforehand.
We technically started in like July. I think end of June, beginning of July, somewhere in there.
Okay.
But yeah, I think for the actual brick and mortar was October 1st.
Yeah. Which is that's the biggest step.
Yeah. I mean that is a big step, but online sales really have to be there. You know what I mean? At the same time,
They're the worst. Online, I hate online.
You hate online sales, but doesn't that bring you the online sales like bring you part of growing up, getting used to art and learning about art through Magic the Gathering of all things. It's just random, but it's real. It really happened. I learned that I get so much done at night. Night's a really valuable time because I'm able to stay up late and get up early, and my body clock seems to be allowing me to do that at 36 years old in this life. I'm still able to stay up late and keep moving in the 4-hour nap increments and get a little bit of sleep when I can, and my body still is allowing me to do so, and I'm going to continue until. But making a living and making the most of the time when people are sleeping is where your value's at. And online sales allow you to make money while you sleep.
It's true.
And I think that though frustrating, and online sales are maybe not your favorite thing, that you box, whatever the process is not the most fun. Online sales allow you to make money while you're out. And whether you're a night out or not, when you see a sale when you wake up in the morning and someone dropped $150 when they were impulse buying at 2:30 a.m., it's a good feeling.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
It's a bad it's a bad feeling.
It's a bad feeling.
It is, because then you have to worry about shipping, and USPS sucks. And
yeah, talk to Jay about that. Jay will tell you right now. He'll definitely attest to that. But I will say, in order to make the dream go, making money while you sleep is how the dream gets there much quicker.
That's true.
And
you gotta be able to be passive.
You gotta, yeah. And I like, I've always been like big on the nighttime. I think a lot of people are like, nothing happens good after midnight. Well, you can those extra hours you can learn a craft, play an instrument, read. There's stuff. If you're awake, you can utilize it. It's when people are doom scrolling overnight. That's the one thing. Here he is. So Jay, we're talking about being a business owner and online sales, and Ryan hates online sales because of the headache of like USPS and
get past. And it's like, at this day and age, everyone, like, they all expect it tomorrow. If you buy it today, they expect it tomorrow. That's like that Amazon mentality, right? And it's, for our website, like we print everything in house, so like all the online orders typically are made to order. So it says like 3 to 5 business days, which 3 to 5 business days gives you a full week. Just in case the shirt's out of stock. Like typically we can get the shirts next day from SNS Activewear. But if you can't, or if it's like a burnout tee that's hard to find, it's like right away, bro. Like people are just really fucking quick to be like, this is why you don't need to mess with the native brand. And like, I haven't received my shirt. And it was like the one, it was like the last time I left to go see my mom. I see my mom once a year. I left on Saturday. The guy bought the shirt on Sunday, and like by Tuesday was asking like, where's tracking? Where's it at? And I wrote him and I was like, hey, I'm out of town for the week. Like I can try to get somebody there to print it and ship it. And he's like, this is what everyone's talking about. And it's like, bro, like he's like, I'm a small business and I would never do this. I'm like, you never go see your mom? You know what I mean? Like I see my mom once a year, dude. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like, I apologize that you bought the shirt while I was on vacation, but I get 7 days off a year. You know what I mean? And like, you just happen to buy it like when I was like on that week. But
people are impatient, man.
But I am, you know what I mean? Like if you're that upset, I'll refund you the money. I'll pay for the shipping. I'll print the shirt and ship it for you. You know what I mean? And like, just because it's like, I was gonna say,
yes,
right.
Quick to Google reviews,
right? But there's if you're shitty, they're quick to say something about your business. And if you're anywhere in here, they don't say anything until you get to the point where we are, where they go, this is the coolest shit I've ever seen. So there's like this big gray area there where people will never talk about your business unless you're either really shitty or really different.
The life of a musician.
Right. Yeah.
If you're really
An
bad,
artist, yeah.
If you're really bad and you're not on they'll be like, man, they need to figure it out. And if you get really good, we'll support them, but we'll see. And then when you get big, I've been watching them since the beginning. You kidding me? I've known that band since the very beginning. You weren't talking about them until now. You know what I mean? I mean, definitely makes a good point there. But yeah, he definitely has the shipping struggle. I'll come in and I'll see like all the little tabs on the computer of all the shipping. I'm like, man, he had a hell of an afternoon. But I mean, that is part of it.
It is what it is, though. Yeah. Like we just have to figure it. And then with doing the online content where we're trying to film more, and it's not to come buy clothes. It's more of like hey, what are you wearing? You know what I mean? Or hey, this is what's going on here at the Levee today. and that's going to bring that FOMO in there. People are going to be like, I gotta come down there. I gotta see this the killer game. You know what I mean? That you're bringing out.
Where is that? Hold that up, bro.
Yeah, we got a chance to play a little bit of this right before the podcast. That was a gift from Thieves Guild.
Yes. So, get someone in next. Everyone can wait and not really feel like they can have a quick conversation, have a drink, and get back to the next game.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
It I believe plays 8 people too.
Oh wow!
So you can do all kinds of rounds, and it still doesn't change the time of it.
Those games are genius.
You see,
that's awesome.
Monopoly's one of those ones that all the yellow books that they used to have out, whatever for dummies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Monopoly is how to lose friends for dummies. That's all it is. It's like because you argue about everything in the game. In the industry, that's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's got a stigma to it.
It's got a stigma to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's so many games out there that don't take a lot of effort. You don't have to do much to them. Setup's pretty easy. I mean, there's one that I've been trying to get in. I had a demo copy of it up in the store called Heroes of
Town, meeting with a lawyer about this board game that I've made. And like I made this game just for me and my buddies in high school. It was 10, 10, 10, and 10. And then instead of Boardwalk and Park Place, it was like Nicole and Brittany. So those girls were 4 drinks each. And then Baltic and Mediterranean were the cheaper ones that were only 1 ounce each. And so I had a cup in the middle, and it was up to 4 ounces. So if you landed on Baltic or Mediterranean, which Kelly or whoever it was, you can take 1 ounce and 1 ounce of beer, and you can have that square. But if you have like Boardwalk, say you have Boardwalk and Park Place, those were 4 ounces each, and you get 15 seconds per ounce. So you get a minute to drink 4 ounces, which isn't hard, right? But once you're playing the game, it's like you can't. If you throw up, you lose. So with this, it was like once I owned Park Place and Boardwalk, I was Big Pimpin'. That was the name of the game, was Big Pimpin'. So now that I owned Boardwalk and Park Place, if you landed on Brittany or Nicole, you would automatically owe me 8 ounces. Or you could try to do a full 12 ounces, which would take you a minute and a half, and you could steal that hoe from me. And that's how the whole game was, and it was so fun. I had not only my school playing it, like our rivals were Boone County, and we had Boone County people coming over to play the game. It was so much fun. And the first thing the guy told me was the lawyer said you can't do 10, 10, 10, and 10. Monopoly has that trademarked. Like no other company on the fucking planet can do 10 squares, 10 squares, 10 squares, 10 squares. And so I went in and I redid it to be streets. So it looked like you were walking down the street and found Brittany and Kelly.
Just picking up people.
Yeah, and it was Big Pimpin'. And then instead of, and the cards where, it was like you picked up a card and it was go to jail or whatever the shit was on Monopoly. It's all the fun stuff. It was the waterfalls. It was the give out 2 drinks, finish your drink. Like, bro, the game was fucking genius. And I was like 17 years old, and I made this game, and like this lawyer was like, "You're onto something, bro." Like, he's like, he was talking about some game. I think it was just called the drinking game, and it was at Hot Journeys, no, Hot Topic. Yeah, Hot Topic's the one that sells the games. He's like, it was 2 college kids, and they made this game for their college friends, and they sold it to this company for $10,000. Now this company makes $10 million a year selling this game. And the game was literally just roll dice, land on it, drink 2 drinks. Land on this, finish your beer. He's like, so you've got something a little bit more elaborate, and I never did anything with it, man. I got the board at my house still. Like I went out and I took whatever board I bought from a Target, and I repurposed it with like Big Pimpin' on the whole front of it. But
sounds like it's about time to
bring it back, dude. That's what I'm thinking, man. Especially with like all these Alibaba connections, like we might be able to just get this board game made from China for like super cheap. Have our own little characters on it.
Oh, dude, I think it would crush. First off, I made a game too, though. I made a game too.
Did you?
Yeah, I made a game. It was a little different. It wasn't like the size. It was just like it had like I mentioned Candyland earlier. It had like a streets, but I had I made like character because I had characters like little like Sonic and all them, and I had all those were my people, and they all had their powers and stuff, and you got to choose this one if you're this one. There was a Pokemon I had Pikachu and Squirtle, and which are strengths, but
it's Reagan.
Hey,
old Reagan from NAP.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but I think that's just the nature of like when you're young and like you want to like come up with a cool game and just show your friends, and it just didn't go that far for me because I don't know, I couldn't stay away from the base, bro.
Yeah.
Once I was like, all these are cool ideas, but I just want to keep playing, and that's all. That's how my trajectory went.
Slapping the bass.
Yeah, slapping the bass, and then I learned. And then I at first it was slapping because that's what Flea did.
Yeah.
And then my friend was like, we had a little jam session. He was like, "Why don't you play with a pick?" And I was like, "A pick?" And he's like, "Yeah, like guitarist." I'm like, and it was just so smooth.
It sounded so much different. Yeah.
Yep. That point forward, I could move so much faster, and I got good, and I figured it out. But that was my path. But speaking of creating games and stuff, have you guys ever done anything like trying to come up with your own game, whether it's a board game or card game, anything? You, Ryan? You're nodding over there.
I'm currently working on one.
Yeah, I can see it in his eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Let's go.
It's one that I'm still trying to flesh out, but it came from something stupid one of my friends said over at Gen Con over in August.
That's how it always happens.
And it's like, oh man, I don't remember the context of it at all, but I got an idea for it. I want to try to make it. I'm working on it. I just got to design some pieces.
All right.
Design some pieces, but at the same time, when it comes to D&D stuff, you can always create your own world in it.
I've got to learn more about D&D, bro.
Dude, come play.
Yeah,
just come play on
I need to. Can I wear these glasses? Can I go live and just be like?
You can wear both. You can wear 2 eye patches if you want.
Yeah, right.
You should film it.
Film the whole thing undercover.
I know I can't.
Infiltrating the Dungeons and Dragons.
Into the war realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when's this TCG tournament? So you got one tournament coming up this weekend. Can people still
sign up for it?
Sign up.
Yeah.
Pretty
sure we still got spots for it. I don't think that one had a limit. The one in October has a limit of 64. Mostly just for the fact that it's like if I get any more than that, I might have to pay for more judges because you have to have judges for all these things.
That's awesome, dude.
There's certifications and stuff for all these card games.
No shit.
Yeah.
So you guys are legit over there.
It's
all
legit.
Right.
I've got 2 people in the community that I'm already eyeing. It's like, hey, I need these 2 to judge instead of play.
All right. Off subject. Have you ever seen the movie A Fistful of Quarters? Donkey Kong: A Fistful of Quarters?
I haven't.
Dude, if you guys are night owls, find that movie tonight and watch it. It is the most interesting movie I've ever. It was like I put it on as a joke because it was like there's a guy that is God, what's his name? He's like the number one like arcade gamer from the 80s. He's kind of a weirdo. He's got like this I'm the shit attitude, and so he's got the world record in Donkey Kong. But there's this teacher from Wisconsin who's really good at Donkey Kong and thinks he can beat the world record. So he buys a Donkey Kong arcade, has it in his garage, plays this thing. He has a video camera, like an actual VHS camera, like filming him playing the game, beats the guy's record, and the guy ended up sending some goons to his house that put us like they either soldered the motherboard or saw that the motherboard was soldered and talked to the official refs of the arcade and disqualified Weeby, the high school teacher, from the tournament because it was now a modified board. So the whole movie this Professor Weeby is traveling around the United States trying to find this mega dude, this like world-renowned arcade player, so he can play him in the middle of an arcade, bro. And like he finally finds him, and he's like, there he is. And so he's like, I'm gonna try to play him. So like, you know, he goes and he Donkey Kong over there, aisle 3, like he's just walking around telling everybody, like, and everybody's like, no shit, a glitch screen is like, I've never even heard of this in my entire fucking life, bro. But I'm so tapped in right now, I gotta see the glitch screen. But it was I'm gonna find that other guy's name, bro. The movie is absolutely incredible. It's called Donkey Kong: A Fistful of Quarters, and it's like, I probably haven't seen it in 10 years, and I still talk about it to this day, bro.
I'm surprised that I've not heard of it, especially when I've seen and have heard of The Room, and that's a much more obscure film.
Right.
To have seen.
Billy Mitchell, that's the guy's name. So Billy Mitchell is the world-renowned arcade dude, and this guy always wears a USA tie, and he's always like, everyone's always trying to ask me what my user tag is. You know, like the 3-digit thing, like when you win the games. And he's like, I've been showing you the whole time without you knowing. And he's like, so it's USA is his like tag thing. But he's like, I mean, like that was like his big reveal. Like, I've been showing you the whole time without you even knowing it. It was, bro, it's such a good movie, man. You got to see it. It's called The King of Kong, not Donkey Kong. The King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters.
The King of Kong.
It is, bro. He's a legit school teacher. It was just like, you know, like he's got a wife, he's got 2 kids, he's got a full-time job. He's like, you know what? I think I'm pretty good at this game. And this Billy Mitchell's like, the fuck he is. I've got the whole arcade's on my side. Even the referees were on his side. So like, it's interesting as shit, bro. The King of Kong.
The King of Kong. Where can you watch that?
Man, good call. I mean, at this point, probably like Tubi. You know what I mean? It's probably one of those free channels you can get it from.
Right.
But yeah, that's, dude, you definitely have to check that out. If you guys are able to play like videos in your store too, man, like having like the wizard on in the background, like shit like that. I don't know if they'll let you have a TV inside trade.
What's going on with that? Do they allow you have any media?
Kind of weird. Like
it's
we
a
have
grace
music playing all the time now.
What is it?
Which you weren't allowed to previously. Like it's
not that we weren't allowed to. I don't really know what the deal with it is.
You weren't allowed to a year ago for sure. Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, they didn't want any music in there. They didn't want any.
They didn't want any
TVs
because they had stuff playing above us.
Right. Yeah.
I don't hear that anymore that much, or if it's on, it's pretty low. I think most of us all kind of do our own thing.
Yeah, I don't think I hear any music in there.
So it's kind of cool because you can go through every single store, and there's a different vibe now.
Different vibe, yeah.
Which is what it should have been.
They set the tone.
Sets the tone. If you go into Jay Sal's place, you'll probably hear a little bit more hip hop rap. You go into ours, I've kind of like coined it as like that.
Nice, dude.
And that's what you usually hear there. As for TVs, I don't think there's any problem with it.
Yeah.
It's something that we've thought about, putting something up in the front, just like slideshow, different events and everything we could be doing.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'd love to put like something up that shows a D&D podcast.
For sure.
That's going on. But then always have to remember that you got kids coming in. So it's like, maybe not the kids for that one because there's not many super family friendly D&D at least sessions and stuff online that you can find that
duly noted.
At least don't have cussing in it. So
right.
I will say our situation's kind of unique compared to like other gaming stores, just because we're in a mall setting where we get